everybody. Welcome back to the Lando Project. So glad for you to join us today. I am your host, Lando Payne, and we are so glad that you would join us on this fine Thursday morning as we celebrate all the movie news that just dropped. And of course, I'm here joined with my compadre, Mr. B to the C.
My man, Lando, what's poppin', baby boy?
Man, I'm so glad to finally talk about some of these things. We have such an amazing lineup for you guys today. So much amazing news that our good friend BC has got us this morning. He has searched the interwebs, high and low, far and wide, for all the amazing things that's been happening so far this week that we're going to be covering. So we're going to cover a lot of hot topics, and we will be getting to some spoiler discussions later on the episode for some new. So for the Obi-Wan episode and also for Miss Marvel, those will be spoiler discussions that we'll be having near the end of this. So if you haven't seen that, this is the warning. And we'll also give another warning before we get into those discussions. But my friend BC, how are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. This is early for me. This is very, very early, but I am awake. I am somewhat alert and coherent. Let's do this, my dude.
Hey, man, listen, I'm just glad that you're joining me in my crazy. I'm glad that you're joining me in my insanity. And speaking of joining me in my insanity, we actually have some news here that we want to talk about very early. And now is the news that you've probably all heard about. But in case you don't know, a few years ago, we've had an amazing movie called The Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. So this movie comes out and it was very well received. Scored over $1 billion at the box office off of a very small budget. And as with the Warner Brothers Discovery mergers, there's been a lot of questions about what the future of some of these movies are going to be, right? We know that Todd Phillips was kind of tapped to be a consultant, as you will, for some of these upcoming projects for the DC movies, tapped by Zaslav. And it looks like we're getting a new Joker movie. Todd Phillips announced on his Instagram yesterday, Joker Folie à Deux. He posted a picture of the actual script, along with a picture of Joaquin Phoenix reading the script. And we got some clarity on this. It says, Phillips, who directed and co-wrote the first Joker movie starring Joaquin Phoenix, is teaming up again with co-writer Scott Silver on the sequel. Phillips shared the red script over the Instagram page, and that's what we got here. And along with that, we now know what the translation of Folie à Deux means. It means madness for two. So, BC, we're hearing about this. We're hearing about this project. What are your initial thoughts about a new Joker movie, first and foremost?
You know, it's a very interesting idea. It makes sense with the amount of money that the film made. However, it is really weird that we are actually going to get a Joaquin Phoenix sequel because he doesn't do sequels. That's why he refused to do Doctor Strange, because he refused to sign for more than one movie. So I'm wondering, what about this makes him want to jump back into this character? So there's got to be something very interesting there. I remember I was not looking forward to this movie. I went into it kicking and screaming. I was like, the thing about the Joker is why he's so cool, why we like him so much, is because we don't know him. We don't understand why it is that he's as crazy as he is, why he does the things that we do, where he comes from. That's one of the reasons I hated the Gotham version of the Joker, because I don't like knowing the backstory. But, Todd Phillips' Joker did a really good job of kind of flipping that on its own and making us think, yeah, we're gonna get the Joker's backstory. But even he doesn't really know what his backstory is in the movie. And he's still an unreliable narrator. So are we going to keep that process with the sequel going forward? What is Madness for 2? Does that mean are we getting a look at Harley Quinn? Is that what's coming here? Or are we getting Baby Batman? I don't know. I'm excited to see this, though. I mean, if we've got the same crew, maybe we have the same magic.
I was not looking forward to this movie. I was not necessarily looking forward to go back into the mind of Arthur Fleck. The first movie was great. And I think anybody will tell you that the first movie was absolutely amazing. However, it's kind of like watching Schindler's List, right? It was so dark. It was so depressing that it took a lot for me to even want to kind of even have discussions about this movie. So, kind of
Yeah.
now, and this is the kind of the thing where I'm at with it. Do I agree that the movie was amazing? I do. Do I agree the movie made a lot of money? I do. Do I want to see this movie? Not necessarily. Am I upset that the studio is greenlighting this movie? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense that the studio would actually go for it. I mean, the movie was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. The lead guy in it also won Best Actor, right? I mean, and then also it made buku's money. I mean, I believe it came down to being the most profitable DC project that they've ever had. If
Pound
I
for pound.
pound for pound, if I am in charge and I'm looking at the only thing that necessarily matters in the entertainment business, the dollar, I am greenlighting this project. So it makes all the sense in the world,
Mhm.
right? So with that being said, who is looking for this movie? Who is asking for this movie? And that's the concern that I'm having because I have a lot of my friends, they're not like me and UBC. They're not avid moviegoers. They're just casual fans of going to go watch some cool stuff. And if they hear Batman's in, they're going to go hear it. And if they call it the Joker, then they're assuming it's Batman. So they're going to go watch it. Some of them feel burned a little bit because they were expecting more of a Batman story. So when they saw what we saw, they weren't really, it didn't appeal to them. So they got their money once. It's like a fool me once, fool me twice type of scenario with some of my friends because I've asked them. They're not too concerned. I can only imagine that would be the mass populace, right? So do I think it's smart for them to make this movie? Yes. Do I think that they're going to make as much as they made the first time? Jury's out. The jury's out. I think they have an uphill battle when it comes to re-engaging the audience to say, hey, we know that you really enjoyed this movie the first time, and we also know that you probably never saw it again because I agree. I don't think that the movie has any rewatchability to it. It's just so hard to watch it. I don't know if they're going to be able to convince audiences to go back out a second time. It's the same concern I have for like the Avatar movies. Avatar, the first
Yeah.
one was so, I mean, what did it make? 2.8, 2.9 bill. And I know that
I don't understand.
I don't understand it. I thought the movie was good. I don't see how they're going to capture lightning in the bottle 2, 3, or 4 times, and that's the concern that I have for Joker. It's not that we don't.
Yeah.
I think we both agree. Joaquin Phoenix is one of the most talented actors in Hollywood. Todd Phillips is breaking away from the mold as becoming an up and coming. Well, I guess we can't say up and coming because he's been doing this for a while, but he's emerging as a bona fide star of a director. So no one
Mhm.
is questioning if we don't believe they're talented enough to do it. I also believe when the movie comes out, it's going to be amazing. I am just concerned about the audience participation with re-entering back into the mind of Arthur Fleck for this next movie. Now, it begs the question, what does follow you do mean, and what does this have to do with the upcoming movie, right? Well, when you look at follow you do, I believe it stands for illness for two or it's pretty much a shared mental condition, normally between two people, normally family members, to where if I'm starting to believe something, I can pass it on to my wife, and then she'll start to believe that. Now, whenever it becomes like
Mhm.
a family, I believe it's called like folia familia, or so the fact that it's saying folly for two, folia do means two. I'm guessing it's between two people. Now, I have heard rumors that supposedly they may be going with copycat jokers. I believe that Screen Rant put an article out there that it may be copycat jokers, but that's not where I'm believing. I'm thinking it's a Harley Quinn type scenario. The reason I believe that,
Yeah. That's where I would go to.
yeah, and the reason why I believe that is that would make sense with this character. Um, from the first movie, the character had a very he was kind of obsessed with those maternal relationships in his life, or those female relationships
Mhm.
in his life with his mother and with the Zazie Beats character that lived down the hallway. It would only make sense now that if he is in the mental hospital, that's where they would go with this. That they would continue along with that, bring in a Harley Quinn, bring in a therapist, a Harley Quinn type therapist into the mental asylum wherever he is, and then see that connection that way. Now, if he's going to be successful with convincing her to be with him, that's up to the unreliable narration portion of it, which that's the journey that I want to see. But if they go that route, that's what I'm most excited for. What do you think?
I like the idea. I think it's possible to make it more interesting, and Uh, I do worry. I don't want this to be one of those things where, we get these, sequels, and in the sequel, you have to go bigger and bolder. You always have to take a step up. I don't think Joker is a movie that you have to take a step up. I think you can stay along the same line. If you keep that steady line still going from the first film, I think you'll be okay. I don't think we have to really overdo it. And that's what I hope they don't do. And I don't think, Todd Phillips, I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would get on there for just, you know, we took the first one, now it's bigger and bolder. No, I think he's looking at this going, okay, there's a reason to do this film. And so I'll be okay with that now. But, you know, who is the second? Are we gonna go with the Harley Quinn? Are we gonna see more of Bruce Wayne and see him start diving into madness? We don't really know yet, but I'm excited to see it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what their plan is. Let's put it that way.
I mean, I don't want to see Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was like,
No.
he was what, 6 or 7 in the first movie. So even if they put this 5 years later, the kid's 11. I mean, I don't want to see baby Bruce. We already got that with the Gotham TV show. I don't want to see this. I personally, honestly, I thought that the movie was more successful when it didn't pertain to the Wayne family. I thought the movie, when it brought in the Wayne family, it took me out of the film. I don't want to see that. When the movie stands on its own,
Me too.
it's a magnificent movie, and you see this dive to madness. I really do like the aspect, though, that it's still continuing the trend of actual mental illness. It seems, because Faliadu is a real mental illness that people suffer with. And he did suffer with some mental illness. We do know that from the first movie, and they took the time to study it. It wasn't just a basic caricature of a character that is suffering with something, right? You can actually feel, you can actually see that they studied how they can take a character like the Joker and fuse that with actual real world scenarios. So that is a take that I do like what they do with that. I'm just trying to sell myself over on, do I really want to go back and get back into being depressed because it was not a fun movie the first time? It beat me up a lot. I mean, I'm still feeling I'm still feeling the punches from that. That's one of the main reasons why I just can't turn it back on. So anyway, guys, that's our thoughts on the Joker 2 reveal that, they're making a new Joker movie. Guys, what do you guys think about them coming back with a Joker sequel? Do you trust Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix? Joaquin doesn't really do sequels. So he's not tied to this one. So him coming back is him on his own saying that they think they cracked it. So what do you guys think about this movie? Comment down below and let us know your thoughts. Moving on to our next topic for the day. We have been blessed, my friend, with some glorious things that have happened. And I didn't even know this was a thing until you told me about it yesterday. But I love some Nicolas Cage. Mm-hmm. I love me some Nicolas Cage. I even love those god-awful Ghost Rider movies. Okay?
Hell yeah. Well, okay. I'll give you Ghost Rider. Spirit of Vengeance
was a decline, but I watched Nicolas Cage. And you know what? In a weird way, I'll watch him just as much as I watch The Rock. If he's in it,
okay,
I'm there. I don't know what I'm gonna get when I watch Nick Cage, but I'm wanting to see what he's got for me. Speaking of which, I do need to watch the new Nicolas Cage movie that came out. I heard it was amazing.
I do too. I hear great things.
I've heard great things. But you let me know yesterday that we're getting a Face-Off 2. I want his face off. I am excited about this, BC. And right here, we have the article from Screen Rant. Face-Off movie sequel update shared by director. So Face-Off is getting a new movie directed by Adam Wingard, who I believe he was the director for help me out, BC. It was the
Godzilla
vs. King Kong movie, right? So
yes.
he knows spectacle, he knows out of this world, which is what you're going to get every little bit of when it comes to a Nicolas Cage thing. I don't really know too much about this except for the fact that they announced it Are they getting Nicolas Cage back?
So the film itself has gone through a lot of rewrites so far. At one point, there was an idea that it was going to be a complete remake of Face Off, and it was going to be two female leads, which I thought actually was going to be really cool
Oh,
to
wow.
see. But now Adam Wingard has come out and said that you know he's talking about Nicolas Cage, and despite the fact that Cage's character died in the first one, this would now become an absolute sequel to the first face off. He said about talking about Adam Cage, he's just having such a moment. Even before Pig came out, we saw this as a Nicolas Cage movie. That's become totally the obvious way to go. A couple of years ago, the studio maybe would have wanted a hot, young, up and coming actor or something. But now Nicolas Cage is one of the hottest actors in Hollywood again. And so Wingard is set on making this another vehicle for Nick Cage. Jury's out on whether or not we'll see Travolta. But I would like to
I
see.
I don't think we are going to get Travolta, to be
I don't
honest
think
with
so either, but it will be really cool to see Cage come back and what's going to happen now, because technology is really advanced to where we can pretty much change your face to whatever we need to change your face to.
you. We
So
got to crack down, man. We got Mandalorian. It's
yeah,
showing us all over how you can
what are
do
we?
deep fakes.
What are we gonna do now? How are we gonna do this? I'm excited. I'm all on board. Anything Nick Cage, I'm always on
This
board for.
this is awesome, man,
So,
because this is a movie that, a lot of people they don't like the rehashes of all the reboots and revivals, but Face Off is a movie that definitely could use a reboot revival. It's one of those movies
mhm.
that not too many of a newer generation has seen, I'm guessing. Um, you
Oh
know,
no,
it was it was one of those classic 90s joints, right? That came out that if reintroducing this to a younger audience, it would be pretty cool to see how they would do it. And you're right, with the deepfake technology, you can easily bring back Nick Cage's face. It would be interesting to see how they actually work this out, but it's good to know that they're actually making this. I want to
Mhm.
see any movie. I'm not going to be a person that says, don't make this movie. I have the original still. If the movie is bad, I will always have the original. It won't take
See,
away my love for the original. Give me as many movies as you can and let me decide if I want to add this to my collection or if I want to go ahead and toss it to the side like Rocky 5. You know, let me.
see. My problem is I'm a completist. So even the movies I don't like, I still have to add them to the collection.
I I'm the same way. I add them. I just turn it around like the sad parent. I just
Yeah.
turn around and shame on you. You get no extra dinner. Like, but I'm really excited for this. I love me some Nick Cage. I'm glad to see Nick Cage is back to having fun with the Nick Cage film he did about himself. It looked like he was just having fun. And you want to see these actors, especially
Mhm.
the actors that we've grown up watching. You kind of just want to see them cut back. Not so much like a Bruce
Yeah.
Willis because he just really stopped giving a fuck years ago. But Nick Cage, he still actually shows up, it seems, and I'm excited for this. I'm happy for Nick. If they do decide to bring him on, but I also will be excited for any iteration. If they want to have it with two women, I'm totally on board with that. That'll be a cool, interesting way to bring that back. I'm not going to be in the camp that says like don't do all women because that's what they did with Ghostbusters. No, that's a terrible way to look at this because you don't know what the story is going to be. I'm a story person.
Yeah.
If the story makes sense,
Ghostbusters wasn't bad because it was for women. Ghostbusters was bad because it was a bad
it was a
movie.
bad movie, right? And and
Like
and and
it
ha-
had nothing to do with the fact that it was for women. It had everything to do with the fact that script
it
was
was
absolute garbage.
right. So hey, hopefully they bring on a really good writing team. Hopefully they have a really good cast director to actually cast this movie appropriately. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited. Um, I want to see another Face Off too. I didn't even know it was one of those things when you let me know. I messaged you. I was like, wait, we're getting one. I didn't even know I wanted one until
Oh
you
yeah.
told me
Oh yeah.
that they're moving forward with this. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think about them making a brand new Face Off movie? Are you excited like I am? Are you excited like BC, or are you in the camp that says, hey, let's make newer projects, or are you just like I'm not interested if Nick Cage is in it? What are your thoughts? We would love to hear them. Comment below and let us know. Anyway, moving on to our next topic. A little bit of Marvel news came out, huh? We got some Marvel stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
We got some Marvel stuff, and particularly about going back to the movies. Uh, One of the biggest complaints so far about the MCU, it seems that they're not giving a lot of care and attention to the movies. But we do have a report here that does say that we have an update on a movie I'm very excited about, Blade. And this is coming to us from Screen Rant. It says the Blade MCU reboot reportedly starts filming in July. BC, I love the Blade character. I love the Blade character since the first iteration with Wesley Snipes. What I really call the actual movie to start the Marvel universe, to me, was Blade. I know some people credit X,
True.
some people
True.
credit X-Men and Spider-Man, but Blade was before them. And
Blade was the first to really, set Marvel up. But the reason people go to X-Men and Spider-Man is because that opened it up to a whole new audience.
yes,
Blade was still very niche
it was
and kind of, for us.
and awesome.
And it's really good to see, how this has grown.
Yeah, and when we heard the announcement that Marshall Ali was going to be picking up his Blade, I'm in love with this casting choice. I love Marshall Ali. Honestly, he can play every single black character that they have, and I'm perfectly fine with this. He was a standout. I loved him in Luke Cage for the 4 episodes that they had with him, and honestly, the minute that they killed him off in that show, to me, the show tanked. The show tanked after him.
Yeah, it did. It did.
He brings a certain level of I hate to say this word again, gravitas, but he does bring that level of acting chops, that level of acting dominance that you need in those movies and those scenes. And then we did hear him at the end of the Eternals movie talking with what will be the Black Knight with Kit Harington.
Kit Harington.
Right, when it comes to Eternal Blade. I'm very looking forward to this movie. I was really hoping for some more Blade connections when it comes to Moon Knight. I was hoping for some more Blade connections possible with the Midnight Suns. I want to go here with this. I'm hoping they expand the MCU, and I know that has been that for me with Phase 4. I've always felt that so far it's been very disjointed a little bit. We're going into a lot of different directions, and I know that I know that they're doing a soft kind of reboot revival of the MCU right now, so it's natural. But you want to see this world expand in a more logical way, and I'm hoping that with this Blade movie, it doesn't suffer the same issues that I'm having with the previous movies. But I'm just glad to know that they're actually starting developing on this. That means we're going to get a trailer soon, hopefully sooner than later.
Come on now, they haven't even started filming.
Give me a trailer.
They start production on July 4th.
Listen, Black Adam dropped 5 trailers of concept art. Don't say it can't be done.
That's because The Rock was hanging out with Boss Logic. Like, that's why we got that.
Hey, man, look, I'm still here for it. I'm really excited to see Blade come into this. That means we're going to get the vampires and more into that part of the world. Blade is such an interesting character, and to know that he's finally going to be in the world with all the heroes. You know, you got all the really cool, very nice heroes. And then you got this guy who I'm very interested to see Marshall Ali's take on this. What are your takes on this movie starting filming in July?
I like it. I'm really excited for it. I think originally it was aiming for a October 2022 release date. Obviously, we're probably not going to hit that. But starting on July 4th, we could hit October 2023. And I think that is a perfect time to release Blade. I think it would really work. I love the idea of bringing in Mahershala Ali, and I'm really excited to see it. Although I did love the idea of a Blade series starring his daughter with Wesley Snipes coming back as the Whistler role, but as Blade, as an older Blade, letting his daughter go and take on things.
Was that was that an original?
That was an early idea that they had, and I was like, I'm all for that. And then came the idea, no, we're going to do a movie, we're going to recast it, we're going to start all over again. So either way, I'm pretty much on board. I'm excited to see this. Blade's an awesome character, and I cannot wait to see where we go. When looking at the MCU now, so many of us are we're just a little confused because we don't know where they're going. For so long, we've known, oh, we're going to the Infinity Saga. We're going on the stones and Thanos and all this stuff. We knew where we were going. Right now, although Phase 4 has given us a lot of stuff, it's given us a lot of stuff in different directions. So it's like a whole bunch of different post-credit scenes from Iron Man with Nick Cage showing up out of nowhere. Not Nick Cage, Nick Fury showing up out of nowhere, talking about the Avenger Initiative. We're like, oh, what are they trying to do? That's where we are right now in a new era of the MCU. Where are we going? We think maybe Secret Wars, but there's so many different branches, so many different directions that we can go that I think our attention is being pulled in different directions. So I think that's been the biggest issue with most people in the MCU. And I don't think it's honestly an issue. I think we're fine. I think we're going good. I think everything's going to be awesome. And I think Blade is really going to add to the overarching universe that we're starting to build. I love that we had things like Moon Knight that are so in its own little pocket.
Right.
And, we're going to talk about Miss Marvel a little later, and it seems like it's in its own little pocket within this world that has really been fleshed out now. And I think Blade's going to find a way to fit in perfectly and make all these vampires seem like they make sense. Like, honestly, what I want to see someone from an old MCU movie that is actually a vampire, and we never knew it.
Oh,
Just like we had, Shield agents turn out to be, oh no, they were Hydra the whole time. I want to see something where it's like, oh no, this guy was actually a vampire the whole time.
Well, you got Morbius.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Morbid time. We're not Morbid time.
I ain't gonna lie, I was so ready to go back to theaters to see it this past weekend.
No,
I did not have a chance to go, but I was like, you know what, y'all are trolling us, and I'm here for it. So maybe I'll go to theaters to see it. I didn't have time.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to this. I really want to see if they're going to actually bring Wesley into this. My guess is that Wesley will make a cameo. I remember that he has for years been saying that he's been talking with Kevin Feige. There's no way Kevin Feige isn't going to just throw him in there. Wesley ain't doing nothing. I mean, Wesley's not doing nothing right now. Put him in Blade. That's his character, and he loves that character. He really does.
Oh,
love
yeah.
that character. So if Kevin just says, "Hey, you want to be in this for even half a second," right? He'll show up. So I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm curious to see how it's going to go. But anyway, guys, what are you guys' thoughts about the Blade movie finally starting to shoot? Are you looking forward to this? Are you not? Are you still kind of bummed? Are you bummed out about the MCU so far? Whatever it is, comment below, and we will let us know your thoughts. We would love to hear them. And we're going to move on to our next topic. And right now, we are going to be moving on to some spoiler discussion. So if you have not seen the Obi-Wan episode 4 and also Miss Marvel episode 1, I do ask you that you please like the video and subscribe. But make sure you guys go watch those episodes before you watch the spoiler episode. You have been warned. So let's start with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4. Where am I at? So we got Obi-Wan Kenobi, and episode 4 dropped the other day, so we finally had a chance to watch it, and we're going to get into some spoiler discussions about this. But I want to let you guys know my first impressions of it so far. So far, episodes 1 through 3, I've really enjoyed. I personally have loved the first episode. I thought the first episode was super strong. I thought it was one of my favorite Star Wars products that they put out. And then we took a little bit of a dive, I believe, in episode 2, and it picked back up with episode 3. Episode 3, I liked it. I did not like it as much as the first one. If I was giving them, I would say episode 1 was an A, episode 2 was a C, episode 3 was a B, right? So now we got episode 4, and I was really hoping that episode 4 would pick up back into that kind of thing of being good. But I need to let you know, man, I did not like this episode. I didn't. I was trying to like it because I was trying to shoot a reaction for it, and I was trying to make myself like it. I felt like I was watching episode 1 again for the first time. Like, this is gonna get good, right? And it never did. Um, I was genuinely disappointed. I'm surprised Deborah Chow directed this episode because it doesn't fit with her framework. Deborah Chow normally knocks it out of the park. But I felt this. Okay, you know what? This show pissed me off. This episode pissed me off. Okay? There was a lot of shit about this episode pissed me off.
You went through a lot of emotions right there.
And yeah, it pissed me off. And the more that I thought about it, the more it pissed me off. Okay? Now, there were some things that I did like about this, so I want to start with what I liked. I want to start with what I liked.
Okay.
I did like when they opened the episode, you had the back to tank thing. When they put Obi-Wan Kenobi into the back to tank, and it was kind of like him and Vader, who was also in the back to tank. They had this connection, and you felt them fighting each other, or with the Force, reaching out to each other, because Obi-Wan and Vader, they looked like they were struggling when they were both in the back to tank. I loved that. And I was like, okay, we're in it. I was good up until that point.
Yeah.
But then the whole show took a dive when we finally get to where we're going. And you've all seen the episode so far. So when they get to Planet Inquisitorius, whatever the hell, Mount Inquisitor, whatever the hell that
Mount
place is.
Inquisitor.
Mount Inquisitor, when they talk about this, and you finally meet O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character. His character was fine with me. But he's telling you that, hey, this fortress, this mountain, is so heavily guarded. That it's so he said it's not heavily guarded. You don't even need to go. Don't go over there because it's not heavily guarded, because it's a suicide mission. So they don't have to worry about all that. But then when you see it, you see there's a lot of TIE fighters and stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. Like it seems like a place. They got their. I've been on military bases. They got their squad set up. Okay, cool. But then you see just Obi-Wan Kenobi just walk up in there and do whatever he wanted to do with this. I made a point to Lindsay watching this, like, yo, are all the stormtroopers just outside? Because he's going through these hallways, man, and there ain't one damn stormtrooper in sight. There's not one in sight. There's two. There's two he has to play a game with. But other than that, he's just transiting through 15 hallways unnoticed. Okay. All right. Sounds good. What pissed me off beyond belief, and you can't see it, but I'm going to put this up. It was after he gets Leia. He gets Leia, and he's walking out, Little Rascal style. With Leia. With Leia under the damn coat. Nah, this is cool. There's not like they're just walking through like 5 people. Now, here's another clip. There's at least 100 people watching this man frolic with a whole person under his coat. I know we're supposed to take our minds out of the realm of disbelief with this, but I just couldn't. That shit pissed me off so much. Like, does no one see this? And then Leia just pops out of the damn jacket. Just, hey.
What up?
What up? You just got tortured, Leia. You were just crying in the torture room, so you know this is a dangerous situation. This isn't like episode 2 where you thought this was a game. You know what's going on, but we're just going to pop in and out of the trench coat? Okay. And then when the speeders come up to then rescue them, where did all the TIE fighters go? Do they not have any air fucking support? When you see the Mount Inquisitor, you can see the hundreds of TIE fighters that they have hanging out.
Yeah.
But these 2 speeders just roll up and it's cool. They go pew, 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 and then they fly off. Cool.
Well, one does.
One did. Because she has the audacity to throw some shit at it instead of, I don't know, sending the 150 TIE fighters. I understand now why Reva was handpicked by Vader to go get Kenobi. Because her and Vader do the same shit and let Kenobi go. They do the same shit. And I was so upset. Like, okay, bruh, we really doing this? I was so disappointed. The fact that the episode must have felt like it was 15 minutes didn't bother me. I was just like, yo, listen, man, you told us I'm getting 6 episodes, and this is episode 4. And now I feel like we're doing the thing with Moon Knight again. We're going into episode 5. We have no backstory on Reva. We have no backstory on um we're not getting the Obi-Wan story that we wanted. So now I feel like episode 5, we're going to get all the flashbacks in the world about what happened with Order 66, and then a rush finale with episode 6. And that's how I'm feeling, because that's exactly how Moon Knight went, right? And I'm not trying to compare Star Wars to this show. I mean, Moon Knight to this show. I am comparing Disney Plus products, however. I'm comparing Disney Plus products. That was the same setup we had. Episode 5, hella backstory drama. Episode 6, immediate anticlimactic finish, right? And that's where I'm feeling with this show right now. I felt that this episode, it really made me feel like, okay, this was what I was worried about to begin with when they announced this series. The first episodes I still really enjoyed, but this one was my least favorite. I did not like it. I couldn't even get my head I couldn't shove my head up my own ass far enough to make me believe what the hell I was watching. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. BC, I'll let you tell me how you felt.
I thought I was gonna be mean to this thing. That was a whole nother level. Look, I agree. I did not like this episode. This has been my least favorite episode. Everyone keeps bashing on episode 2. However, I think because I watched them, I watched 1 and 2 right back to back. It all runs into one episode. I'm like, I remember having fun watching it. So I don't know. Maybe I need to just go back to just watch 2 and see why people didn't like that one. But this was just, I went into this expecting emotion. Like, we just saw Obi-Wan get damn near murked,
right?
By Vader, and like, this is an emotional time, and it opens up with that emotional scene of him in the back to Tang and Vader in the back, and they're both feeling each other and all this, and and then immediately it's, where's Leia? I'm like, oh God, can we please stop with galactic adventures and babysitting? I am so over galactic adventures and babysitting. I can't. This is the one thing that I was like, once the show started, I was like, I hope this is not what they do all 6 episodes. And it's starting to show more and more to me that this was a movie that they said, well, let's cut it here, and make it a show.
Yeah.
Add a little bit, and yeah, it'll just be a TV show instead of a movie. And this is where things like that suffer, because this is a filler episode in a 6-episode arc. Like, it makes no sense to do this. Why would you just added this up to add padding? Because I expected Obi-Wan to come out of this going, okay, that's it. I'm over this shit. I'm a fucking Jedi master. I'm going to go out here and start being a Jedi. And we get a little bit, like, halfway through, which is, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe.
Right.
Obi-Wan starts doing some Jedi shit. Like, that scene in the dark where he's slicing up the stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
That was absolutely awesome. I'm like, I'm here for this. There we go. Now we're getting into it. But then he stops using the Force again, uses a blaster. He has to hold some water, which was an okay scene, but I mean, nothing important. And we're back to every like 3 minutes, it would cut back to the interrogation room of Reva. Like, where are they? And little Leia, I'm not telling you. Where are they? I'm not telling. And it just went back and forth for so damn long. It was so pointless. And I'm over it. I'm just over Leia. And I just want Jedi. I want an awesome Jedi fighting Darth Vader. That's what I want to see now.
I originally, when the show started, I was very intrigued about where we want to go with Leia, because the whole thing with Leia was to get him off of Tatooine. I want to go back to Tatooine. I'm ready to go back to Tatooine.
I don't understand why people don't like Tatooine.
I'm ready to go back. Because why? The sand episode was the best one. The sand episode was the best one. I have been trying to, and by the way, and I still stand by this, the hatred that Moses got for Reva, the racist comments, they do not stand with me. How?
No.
With that being said,
If you're racist, fuck you.
if you're racist, fuck you. Right? We both stand by this. With that being said, that interrogation scene with Reva and Leia was single-handedly one of my least favorite Star Wars scenes I've ever seen.
But I mean, at the same time, it's not Reva's fault. It's not Moses's fault.
It's not.
It's just a pointless script. Like it's a pointless scene.
It was the writing. I didn't feel any tension with, and I will say this, and I'm trying to find the positive. I really did enjoy Leia's performance. The girl
the girl is fantastic.
The girl is great. And Moses is a fantastic actress. I felt that her lines felt a little flat. I felt they were just like empty threats. Like to me, those were threats that I've heard when I'm at the gas station and I'm pumping gas for too long, and the person's like, "Yo, hurry up!" Like whatever. I did not feel like you're the Inquisitor. You're the third totem on this Palpatine Vader pole that we have. And you mean to tell me this girl who doesn't have any force powers yet that we know of, you can't do your force? And it's just too hard today.
See, and that look, I understand there's going to be reasons that canon doesn't make sense because we made A New Hope in the 70s, and we didn't know we were going to do these. So there's going to be some things that don't line up perfectly. However, not being able to use the Force on Leia should go into their minds of going, wait a minute, why can't I do this? What's going on? You're really strong. Who are you?
Right.
Like Vader should know more about Leia now. And Vader should also be going, wait a minute. So we have a senator's daughter here with us and she knows that I'm like, the bad guy and doing bad things. Oh, kill that kid now. She's not going back to her senator father.
Yeah. And okay. I'm going to stop now. I'm going to get myself off of this because there is one good thing I want to talk about. My favorite part of the episode was the Jedi tomb.
See, I didn't understand that. I don't get it. We've never seen anything like that, and I don't know any of those characters. They're not like people were attached to.
Well, the reason why I really liked it, you may have forgotten it. Remember the episode before? Then you see all the trophies in the Inquisitor in the Inquisitor room. You see, in the Inquisitor room where they're at, they had like the red ring around it. If you look at the red ring, you see all the lightsabers that they collected. And you also see, it is very, very disgusting. You see a bunch of the youngling helmets.
Yeah.
So when he's walking through there and you see the tomb, and oh man, and then they showed like the youngling in the tomb. I was like, this is dope. As far as what am I seeing in Star Wars lore, I was like, this is cool because that at least lets me know now about that Underground Railroad thing that we were talking about the Jedi's on the run. I thought that was cool. So if I can pull out certain things out of this episode, the back to tank scene, right? The Jedi tomb, right? That scene where he actually rescues Leia when the room was dark, right? He goes in there and does his thing.
Yeah.
Those three things are the things that I like the most about this. I was like, oh, this is cool about the whole holding up the water thing and the water comes through. And then I thought about it at the same time. So one blast from a rogue stormtrooper will cause destruction of the Mount Inquisitorius.
Yeah.
What?
Looking at the tomb scene, my issue is like the same issue they did with the Rise of Skywalker. Is it Rise of Skywalker? Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. We have that endgame moment at the end of Rise of Skywalker where everybody shows up. But the problem is there's no emotion there because everyone that's showing up, we have no emotional connection to.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we know Lando, but he's barely been in these new movies.
Right.
We know Wedge, but that's the first time he's even shown up in these new movies. So there's no emotional connection there. And Endgame, when everyone comes back, we have been through 10 years of emotional connections to almost every single one of those characters. So in this moment, when we go in this tomb, we see all these creatures or all these Jedi that I have no clue who they are. And I've watched all of Clone Wars, all of Rebels, and I still look at this going, am I supposed to know who these Jedi are? I don't care about them because I don't know them.
Right.
I always go back to how I was like, no, this is bullshit that Kylo is redeemed. Kylo's irredeemable. He killed Han Solo. It's redeeming him is terrible. Like, well, they redeemed Vader and he killed younglings. I'm like, I don't know those younglings. I don't care about those younglings. Vader ain't killed nobody that I truly care about. Yeah, he killed Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan came back as a Force ghost, so we good.
And now that you said it, it would have made more sense if they had put in like Jocasta Nu, who we knew, who we knew who we knew Vader had hunted down and tracked years later and killed, and now we got Jocasta Nu in there. That would have made more sense. Maybe he would have found Mace Windu's body. That's where he's at.
Right? See, exactly.
Yeah.
If Mace Windu had been in there, that scene would have been so much more impactful.
Right. It was kind of a waste opportunity. Now you bring that up. I still enjoyed it because I'm trying to pick out the parts that I like the most. And then also where I also felt let down, and we have to wrap this up. The other part where I felt let down was actually Vader. When where is it? When Vader goes and he's pissed, and I love pissed Vader. I love me some pissed Vader. Well, Vader's always pissed. But there was a beautiful shot of him holding Reva up. I thought that was so cool. But he just lets her off. Like
I actually liked that.
He let her off.
I was like, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. You let him go again. It's time to die. Wait, what? What do you say? Oh, you tracking him? Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that when I capture Leia.
But
in
it wasn't
years.
the real plan. That's what's so pissed. This is what pisses me off. That wasn't the plan. The plan was Obi-Wan was already there. Vader doesn't care.
That is true. Vader should be pissed about that.
Vader doesn't care about these other petty Jedis. He doesn't.
Except
that's why he's
already let him go.
That's why he has the Inquisitors cleaning up the mess. He cares about one person. One.
Mm-hmm.
And that man was there with a trench coat carrying little Leia out of the oh man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That was our review for Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 4. What did you guys think about this episode? I really do hope they pick it back up with episode 5 and episode 6. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but I heard that they brought in a very good writer for episodes 5 and 6, who I guess he's done several Pixar films. So they brought in a really good writer for these last 2 episodes, and I'm very excited for him because I'm hoping he can clean this up a little bit. The show can be salvaged, is what I am saying. I believe the show can finish.
Andrew Stanton. Andrew Stanton is the writer, and he's the director of WALL-E.
Yes. So he knows how to storytell, right? And that's really all I want. I want a good storyteller. So I'm hoping he can clean this up a little bit and tie this up a whole lot better. O'Shea Jackson Jr. was talking a lot about how people are going to be blown away by who his character was. Now, I couldn't even remember his name the first time. I think his name was like Ranker or something.
Roken.
And he said he was married to a Jedi, so I'm wondering who he is. I was assuming he was going to be Quentin Voss, but
I was too. And going back looking at his comments where he's like, "Yeah, y'all gonna be blown away by who I am." I really think he's just like, "Yo, I'm a hood brother in Star Wars. What up?" I honestly think That's what he meant. He's like, y'all want to be pissed? Be pissed at me because I'm literally just my dad in a galaxy far, far away.
Straight
what
out
up,
Coruscant.
motherfucker?
Crazy Jedi named Ice Cube Jr., right? And I'm hoping that they expand on this. I mean, if they can connect him to, because they said he was married to a Jedi, which one brings up a lot of questions for me because
Facts.
Jedis don't get married, unless this took place after the events of
This. Wait. This is how we got Vader. Who was your fiance or your wife?
right. And I'm hoping that they can get into that a little bit more. I want this show to focus up on Obi-Wan. The show needs to focus up on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What if Reva's backstory? She was married. She left. She's the kid. She left. She married. What's his name? Ice Cube Jr. And then Vader pulled her back into the Inquisitors.
I don't care then. It just seems to me that he was just. Seems to me he was just married to.
It gives him more of a reason.
Gives him more of a reason, but I mean, he's okay. Why not make him Quentin Voss?
I know.
Why not make him Quentin Voss? That's kind of my frustration. Is why not do that? They set it all up. He's smuggling Jedi. Make him the one who rescued Grogu. Give fans a little bit of what they want. Unless, of course, they're going to deal with the Quentin Voss thing later. But I just feel like they're bringing a lot of characters with like the
one-offs.
Kumail Nanjiani. I'm sorry, I cannot say his name.
Kumail Nanjiani.
Eternals, Silicon Valley. He was kind of just a one-off, and I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of wasted, you know. And I just feel like it's a lot more filler than I wanted in this in this show. It's just not progressing the way that I wanted. But anyway, guys, how do you guys feel about this episode? Comment below. We would love to hear your thoughts on that, and let us know what you guys think about what's going to happen in episodes 5 and 6. We want to hear what your future projections are. Do you guys agree with me? Do you agree with BC? Or are you guys tapped out? We would love to know. So if you guys can leave that comment, that'd be great. Also, if you're still watching us, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share as we talk about Miss Marvel. All right, so also yesterday, we were gifted. Marvel, Kevin Feige gifted us with Miss Marvel. The first episode came out. Miss Marvel is about a young woman, a young girl, a young Muslim girl growing up. It's kind of a coming of age story. We're going to watch this young girl grow up, and she's going to discover that she has some powers very similar to her idol, Captain Marvel. So before this show came out, we saw some of the trailers. I was not vibing with any of the trailers that came out. I thought the show just wasn't for me, and that's fine. They make shows for different audiences, and it seemed like the show is geared more towards a younger audience, which was I was going to watch it anyway, but I just knew going into it, or I thought going into it, this probably won't be for me. This is going to probably be my least favorite episode of my least favorite show, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. And no, it's not my least favorite show because it's a young girl in it. It's just a younger person, and I'm just older. Sorry, I don't know if I wanted to watch a teenage grow up story again because I already got that with Spider-Man, you know. But anyway, here's what we got. And BC, I want you to know I actually really like this show. I actually did find myself being quite charmed by it. I thought that the show was a little bit for everybody, you know, and the way that they do it was very cool and very sweet. I did really like the young actress who was playing Kamala Khan. I thought she's a teenage kid. She's a teenage kid, you know, who's figuring it out, disobeying her parents, running off and doing things. But they put a lot of this into the show where even I felt connected to her because when they were kind of going through the streets with her and Bruno, and they're having this conversation about like, oh, maybe you could be like Captain Marvel mixed with Iron Man. You could be like Iron Marvel or something. Those remind me of conversations I would have with my friends when I was 8, 9, 10. You
Mhm.
know, about like, oh man, wouldn't it be so cool if these things, and you actually get to see that. So that kind of was like, oh wow, that's cool. I haven't seen anyone talk like that, and it's an honest conversation. It's what you would expect these kids to talk about. Um, and then of course you see her relationship with her family. Of course, they're a Muslim family. I believe they're Pakistani, and they're beautiful family. I love her mother. I love her mom. Her mom is so awesome. She reminds me a lot of like my mom. Just so
Mhm.
you know, she's not gonna blast you, but she'll talk around you and still make you feel bad. Kind of. Like, she's
My
like,
mom, my mama do the same. My
bruh,
mama do the same.
yeah, she was it was cute because she's like, oh, this dress. She's like, oh, I'm too short. She's like, no, dress is too long, right? And I was like, that's such a mom thing, right? And I
Yep.
loved her character. She was doing it flawlessly. So I really loved the character, the cast that they put together with this. Her father. I love the heart they brought into it. I even like the Bruno kid. Bruno
We don't
is
talk
a
about
no
Bruno.
one
No,
talks to
no.
Bruno, of course, he goes to school with Kamala, and they're kind of two peas in the nerd pod, right? Um,
Facts.
and it's really sweet how he talks to her and how he treats her. You could tell he loves her.
Mhm.
You could tell either that's his best friend, but you could tell there is a love there, and he
Yes.
also understands how she feels about being brown and being a Muslim and being talked down upon. When she's I thought it was very, it showed a lot about when she says, "Oh, this is my name tag," and it's in Arabic, and of course, people roll her eyes, but he sees her and sees the real her, and even tries to get her to incorporate. She's trying to get dressed for the Avenger Con that's coming up, and she wants to dress up as Miss Marvel, as Captain Marvel, but he kind of tells her like, "Hey, incorporate your family and your history with your outfit. Just don't make it about Captain Marvel. Bring in your what makes you you. You know,
Mhm.
brings that in." And I thought that was so cool because I wish I had a friend like that growing up that was like, telling me to embrace me being who I was. Because I grew up in an all white area, so I didn't really have a lot of black friends. So it was I can relate to that. I can
Yeah.
relate to that, and I can that was endearing. So I thought this show had a lot of heart. There were some things I could do without. I mean, there was some parts I kind of felt myself being taken out of the show, in particular with some of the background stuff that they were doing. Um, they tried to be very creative with like her and Bruno texting each other, and then they have like some of the LED lights lighting up to just reflect what they're talking about through their text messages, which normally I would be all for. In this show, however, it was kind of distracting, where I had to kind of stop paying
Okay.
attention to the show and figure out what the coded messages were that was being relayed. Um, so there was a little bit of that, but other than that, I found myself really, really liking the first episode. Very much so with the whole Avengers Con thing and that teenage rebellion. I felt really bad for her. I don't want to say it's Abu, her father.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
felt bad
that
for
was
him,
that was a hard scene.
because he you could tell he's a dad that loves his little girl.
Mhm.
And he wants her to go. And so the whole premise is she wants to go to Avenger Con and she wants to dress up as Captain Marvel, but mom is saying you're not wearing skimpy outfits like the rest of those women out there. And that's a conversation that most parents have with their kids anyway. But they still want her to go, and her dad comes in with this green Hulk outfit, and her mom made her another a little Hulk. There would be little Hulk and big Hulk. It was a family bonding moment to the parents, but to her, she's in that teenage angst of you're embarrassing me, you're embarrassing me. You could just see the hurt coming through her father. So anyway, I thought that I thought the cast did amazing to convey the feelings that they wanted me to feel. I know what they was going for. Unlike Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was able to actually capture the feelings that they wanted me to have with that. So I really did enjoy this first episode of Kamala Khan much more than I thought I was, and I actually left me wanting to see where this is going to go with her character. Um, am I a big fan of Captain Marvel in general? No, I'm not. So I could do without all those references, but that comes with the territory, so I just bypass that. Um, other than that, I found myself really liking it. I thought that she looked great when she actually did showcase some of her powers. I thought the CGI looked all right. Um, it was a different kind of power than we're used to seeing. So, you know, I thought it looked okay. But BC, what were your thoughts on this very first episode for Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel is a very interesting character. I don't know if you've played Avengers, the Marvel's Avengers, the video game.
I have not yet.
So it has a lot to do with the origin of Miss Marvel and how she is a Inhuman and all this stuff. And it was my least favorite thing about the game. And a lot of people didn't like the game overall, but I enjoyed the game because I love to just be Hulk running around smashing things or Thor flying around smashing things, whatever. But I really did not enjoy playing as Kamala Khan. And going into the show, I was like, okay, I'm an MCU mark. I love the MCU. I love Marvel. I don't think they're making Miss Marvel for me. I am not the target audience for Miss Marvel. So, I'm going to watch it, but okay, whatever. I know it's basically iCarly with superheroes, and that's not for me. Bro, when I tell you I fell in love with this show as soon as I turned it on, I ain't lying to you, my dude. Like, this was the most fun I have had with any of the MCU shows. And I've loved almost all the MCU shows, but
Yeah.
this was so much fun. Just like you said, it is charming and touching, and I connected with every single character. They're all so well written, and I would love to talk about the relationship she has with her best friend, but we don't talk about Bruno, so I can't really speak to that. Silencio, Bruno, we don't talk about you. Disney's got a thing with Bruno, man.
They love
Uh,
Bruno.
but I loved the change to her characters. I love how they're like, Inhumans, I thought maybe they would go with the Inhuman route because we did just see Black Bolt show up
Yeah.
properly. We saw a proper Black Bolt Inhuman. So I was like, okay, maybe they're gearing us up for to kind of relook at the Inhumans. Doesn't look like that's the case. Looks like we're doing something completely different. And honestly, I liked it. I think it worked. I think it fits. I think it's going to have something to do more with her heritage, which is really going to add to the overall show. And she is just the most darling child actor, kid, or young up and coming actor I've ever seen in my life. She's just so endearing, and you just want to be. I want to be friends with her. I'm like, yo, let's go get a burger or something because we cool. I want to hang with you.
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I need a
And
house.
the background stuff. You talk about the background stuff. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Some of it was hard with the text messages,
Right.
but I did love how, like, when they're walking and talking and stuff's just going on
Oh, I
because
love
it's
that.
just showing
Yeah. Yeah.
like her head, like it's all in her head, and like she's just all over the place. And I'm like, oh, you're just like me. You're just everywhere, aren't you?
She was great. And it's all to the credit of the actress. Uh, I want to get her
Oh,
name.
I cannot pronounce her name. Uh,
I want to just look it up.
Iman Vellani,
Iman Vellani.
maybe.
I want to say her name because she did so great with this. Even when they're concocting we're gonna get out and we're gonna do this at 5:55 and it's gonna be 6:15. And I looked over at Lindsay. I'm like, do they not watch any movie? This never works. This plan never works, but it works with this show because they're kids and they obviously don't know yet. It can work over and over and over again. The greatest thing about this show, and I think it's speaking to all of our inner kid a little bit when you're watching it. We've all kind of felt like her, especially if we grew up with these comic books and we've been reading these comic books. But she's grown with actual heroes. We've all felt like her. We've all been her
Yes.
to some extent, and we've all had families like her. We've all been through situations like taking our first driving test, right? We all have that nervousness. I mean, there was a great scene when and it was so quick, but there was a great scene when they show her just going to PE class, going to gym,
Yeah.
and she's being bullied. It's just I mean, it's bullying is bullying, but it's not the super high intense in your face bullying, but it's that subtle bullying,
Yeah.
right? Which
Yeah.
which I believe is a little bit more dangerous than anything because it's unspoken, right? They're just kind of like throwing the volleyball at her and everything. So she's dealing with all this, and all she has is her heroes But I do need to reach out to her because I need help on the YouTube channel. I know she got her YouTube channel going and growing, and,
Right?
and I love that about her. It's like she's so doing her thing, and she lives in her own world where she actually creates these mini battle scenes. And oh man, I loved the how we finally find out how they know everything. So it turns out Scott Lang is just on a podcast telling the world how how that battle happened at the end of Endgame, which makes all of the sense in the world that it would
Facts.
have been that
Facts.
it would have been him. Because I kept thinking, like, how does everyone know? Like, Doctor Strange was the one that did this, and Doctor Strange was the one that did that, and Iron Man did this. Yes, it was Ant-Man who was present for like all of it. So it makes sense that that was the thing. I thought that was super funny. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this
I
show, man. I thought it was great. I thought that the show really just captured that childhood fantasism, right? That child
Mhm.
fantasy.
Yeah.
Uh, honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
I love
I was gonna say I don't really want to see Captain Marvel show up. I know they're gonna probably bring her in at some point, um, to kind of gear her towards the Miss
I
Marvel,
think we'll get
the Marvels.
Rambo. I think we'll get Rambo. We won't get Captain
Well,
Marvel, Brie Larson.
they did mention her
Um
with Photon. They're like, we got the Photon gloves,
yeah.
and Rambo's name in the comics is Photon, right?
Yeah.
So that lets you know that hey, it's been some time since what happened in WandaVision. She
Yeah, the
probably
Marvels are coming.
the Marvels are coming. So I thought that was really really cool.
I will say, dude, you know, the way the MCU is going now, and we're getting all these different corners and pockets and whatnot, and we have new possibilities for new team ups. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know, we've seen Spider-Man and Iron Man, we've seen Hulk and Thor, we've seen, you know, different heroes show up and team up with each other. I want nothing more now than a team up of Miss Marvel and Spider Man. I want to see Tom Holland and this girl on screen together because she's our new little naive, fun, happy superhero. And now you can have Peter Parker being like, I'm all alone, but look at this little kid who's doing this too. And I remember doing that. I remember why you know, it
Well,
can
they're
be
right.
so much fun
She's
to
right
see
down the.
them interact.
She's right down the street. I mean, they make it a point to let you know this is taking place in Jersey City, right? They let you
Mhm.
know that it's taking place in
They're
Jersey
so
City.
mean to Jersey too. They're just
They let you know. So like, hey, he's right down the street. I would more so like to see, um, oh, Hawkeye. Oh, what is
Kate
her?
Bishop.
Kate Bishop. I would like to see her run with Kate Bishop, just as like a bigger sister
Oh
kind of
my
a deal.
god, dude! A round table of Kate Bishop,
Yeah,
Miss Marvel, Spider Man, and Yelena.
yeah.
That would be the most
That
sarcastic, fun
it would be
conversation to
great.
ever listen to.
I would love to see it. Marvel, I shouldn't have doubted you, Kevin Feige. I'm sorry that I doubted this show. Who would have thought
Facts.
that yesterday I was thinking that I was going to enjoy Obi-Wan more than Miss Marvel, and I was totally wrong about how that turned out. But guys,
Yeah.
what did you guys think about the Miss Marvel episode? We would love to hear. Comment below and let us know. And guys, that's a wrap that we have on today. We really appreciate you guys joining us on this episode of the Lando Project. My name is Lando. You can find me on the Instagram stuff, tag down below. But BC, where could they find you?
You can find me on all the social medias, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. My TikTok is fire. At The Grind Calls. And also don't forget to check out thegrindcalls.com for all your movie news and reviews. We are answering the call to bring you pop culture positivity.
Absolutely. Guys, we really do appreciate you joining us. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Let us know what you guys were thinking. Comment below. We would love to read your comments and have that discussion with you guys. We will respond back most likely. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, please just throw them in the comment box. Other than that, we really do appreciate this. Has been the Lando Project and normal finger guns. Love you. Take care.